Hey friends, I'm Dr. Molly Brinkman. I'm a veterinarian near Nashville, Tennessee, and this is a show for people who like to laugh, love their pets, and realize that life is hard, but dogs and cats help. I love veterinary medicine. I'm probably already obsessed with your pet, and I want you to understand more about both of those things. So welcome to the Dr. Molly Says podcast. Hello, friends.
Hello.
I have a friend with me today. So I'm very excited about this interview. This is Dr. Jason Epstein. And we have like loosely known each other for a hot minute.
Years. Infamous. I've known of you.
We both have worked for the same practice, but we never actually overlapped.
You've picked up where I left off.
Yes.
We'll say that.
So we kind of knew of each other for a long time. And then we sort of reconnected the last couple of years because we both have sort of entered the industry world to a certain degree and are at like all the vet conferences. So that's how we know each other. And I was making fun of him because I have a whole page of bio.
This is your fault because it said list what's important. And I was like, I don't know you figure it out. Just here's all the stuff. You decide what's important.
I'm going to hit the highlights. I don't want to forget anything. It's all very wonderful things.
Oh, goodness.
So Dr. Epstein, where are you from originally?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Personal. Yes. Charleston.
Yeah.
Oh, I like Charleston.
That's fun.
Did you live in like Charleston?
I lived West Ashley, so like 15 minutes from downtown, 30 from the beach. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
And you went to UGA.
Yes.
And you were a member of the Redcoat Marching Band.
Yeah, I was.
Fun fact.
Yes.
What did you play?
The most masculine instrument. I played clarinet.
Stop.
I started when I was 7, so it was not a conscious choice. So
yeah, that's awesome. It's a big deal. It's not as good as the Pride of the Southland Marching Band at Tennessee, but
cute. You want to look at the record the last decade? So.
But
no, it was a lot of fun.
Did you do circle drill?
It was a lot of fun. Huh?
Did you do a circle drill?
Circle drill.
That's what the Southland.
We are more complicated than circles. We can handle like G's and other letters, and I didn't really pay attention. I was in it for the games.
So naturally, you're in a music fraternity. Phi Mu Alpha.
Yes.
Sinfonia.
Yep. That was a surprise find in college, but it's Mr. Rogers, Andy Griffith.
Oh, okay.
John Philip Sousa. Like I was Duke Ellington. Like there's some pretty cool dudes in this thing. So it's a great organization.
So it's a big deal, is what you're saying.
Yeah, if you got
kind of a big deal.
College age kids, look into it.
Okay.
It's a great group.
And so you did undergrad and vet school at Georgia.
Yeah, I never wanted to leave. So
but you don't live there anymore.
You get it. You get Knoxville. You never wanted to leave,
No,
right?
yeah. I was just there. It's great.
Yeah, no, Athens is the same. It's a great town. And now I go back and I'm like, oh, these are children. Like these are tiny children. I don't. That's why I don't live there. So.
I visited the vet school at Tennessee this past weekend, and it was fun. But I'm like, the clinic is exactly the same as it was 11 years ago. I think they're about to get some upgrades.
Yeah, Georgia's got a brand new one. They promised the brand new one when I hit clinics, and
but they're just now getting it.
They started construction a year after I left.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. But I love vet students. I don't know if you ever interact with vet students right now.
Not as much as I'm hoping to a lot more in this new role. So
right.
It hasn't been a big part of my career yet, but I think it's going to.
And we're going to talk about the new role a lot in just a minute. Okay, so Georgia for vet school, and now you live, kind of split your time. You're in Nashville and then Florida as well. And you're engaged to Rebecca.
Yes.
And you have 2 kids.
I have 2 of my own and 3 future stepkids. So it's
oh my gosh, y'all are gonna be like the Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch in 2 cities. So like they're teenagers, so they don't want to hang out with us ever anymore.
Fair.
So
they will again, I promise. Okay, so let's talk about your career. So you went to UGA for vet school. You were in GP practice in Colorado. Where were you in Colorado?
I was in Colorado Springs the first 3 years of my career.
Because I practiced in Western Colorado, like Glenwood Springs, Aspen area.
No, I didn't know that.
So I was there for like 2 years.
I always wanted to live in Colorado. I love snowboarding. I love the mountains, hiking. I hate anything allergies and bugs. So I was like, get me the hell out of the South. That was all I wanted to do.
In Colorado.
Oh, it was great. I never wanted to leave.
We miss it. Ryan and I went there right after vet school. I did an equine internship there, and we are big snowboarders too. Who knew?
Yeah.
But yeah, we miss it all the time. We really we go back at least once a year.
Oh yeah. No, there's nothing like having Pikes Peak in your backyard and being able to take your day off. It's like, I'm off today. It's a Wednesday. What am I going to do? I don't know. Drive to the mountain and snowboard for 6 hours and be home by dinner.
My day off, like in Glenwood, we had a local mountain. It's like this little cute Sunlight Mountain. Shout out, my fave. But yeah, every like weekday, I had one weekday off after my internship was over, and so that's what I did alone with headphones in. It was
great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it was a local mountain, so there was like nobody there. It was just like me and the mountain, shooting the Ute. If you know about Sunlight Mountain. Okay, so you were in Colorado for how long?
3 years. So
3 years.
My firstborn, and then it was time to come back by family.
Yep, sounds like
happened.
us. So then you came to Tennessee, and you worked in GP, and that was about 8 years in GP.
Yep, and lots of practices because I have strong opinions and a bad ability to keep my mouth shut.
We have a lot in common.
I've been an associate at a lot of places.
Okay, yep, I totally
picked up a lot of good and bad things and did relief and.
Yep.
You know,
see, vet students, if you're listening, it's okay.
Most of us leave our first jobs within the first year. So that's, I made it 9 months.
Yeah. I had my internship and then I stayed there for another year. But then my first job after that was less than a year. Okay. And so you kind of transitioned out of regular GP associate practice, and you took a leadership role as the executive medical director of Pets Wellness Alliance.
Yes.
Which transitioned into My Pets Wellness, which is now no longer in existence.
Yep. Shout out. Thanks, private equity.
Which we should probably talk about as its own episode.
How did
that happen?
Whole journey was insane, because what that company turned into wasn't the company I signed up for because COVID. So everything pivoted so many times. It was a hell of a journey.
Yeah. If you're listening or watching and you don't know what we're talking about, My Pets Wellness became a corporate group of practices.
What was?
That last year? Was it last year or 2 years ago?
It was April of 24.
Okay. Yeah.
No, April of 25.
Yeah, it was last year. It hasn't even
been a year. It was April of 25. So we grew up to 17 locations at one point, and then slowly dwindled to 12, and then I left, and then less than a year later, they shut all the doors overnight, leaving a lot of my friends, a lot of people I cared very deeply about at high and dry. Yeah. And there was, I reached out to my friends in the executive team, and there was literally nothing we could do.
And nobody was really warned. And so
no, literally 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So it was warning. A Friday night, an email got sent out to clients and staff, like at the same time. Yeah. As of now, we are closed.
Yeah, it was.
And there are, 3 locations, or were 3 locations here?
4.
So for us in other local practices, we just kind of it was like all these orphan clients and
doctors
staff members
and technicians, and it was.
Yeah, so we took a lot of them in. Dr. Beatty did relief for the practice I was at. I'm actually doing some surgeries out of her mobile van here.
Oh, that's cool.
Day after tomorrow. But
she was great.
So, it seems like most of the doctors that I know that were here, they're like on to better things.
Oh, I'm so grateful that we built some really phenomenal teams, and they all seem to have landed on their feet. Luckily, we're in an industry where there's always opportunities.
Yeah,
so
I think they're all. I hated it for the clients too, because some of them didn't get their records, and
it was
it's a mess. Yeah, we could do a whole episode on that. Okay, so that's what you did for
4.5 years.
4.5 years. Okay, and then after that, you started working for. Or with someone to start like a pop-up vaccine clinic company.
Yeah, and so that's still running in Dallas. Okay. So I have a business partner there, and he saw a need in the Dallas communities, especially lower income. Yep. Not a lot of English speakers, not high tech, but these people love their animals and they want to do what they can, but they can't afford the $400 per year annual comprehensive everything. Yep. And so Manuel and I started VaxFan, and it's still up and running on the weekends in Dallas. And
I love that.
He's hoping to scale it, alongside some of these other ones you see that pop up on the weekends.
And it's mobile. So does he just kind of like park somewhere?
It looks like we're tailgating. It is a trailer with setup. Tents and tables, cool. And we set up, and they're there from 9 to 4 on Saturday in one place and Sunday in another. And I'd love to see that succeed for him and for the communities that need it.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. Okay. I didn't know that part. Okay. So that's what you started in 2024, and bilingual staff. I love. Did you know that I'm bilingual?
I did not. I'm barely lingual in English. So,
so yes, I speak Spanish, and we will definitely have Spanish speaking staff other than me here.
That's super valuable.
Yeah.
Super valuable.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that was, I mean, Manuel's an immigrant, and so he came here to create things and wants to take care of the community that he came from. So
I love that for him.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you're doing now, because we're going to talk about it.
So yeah, I am now the Chief Veterinary Officer of Cats Only Veterinary Services. So we are in the process of opening our first of hopefully very many cat only hospitals. We are a single family backed organization. So we have no private equity in the organization, which was really important to me because I'm not dabbling in that ever again. I think we've seen that there's such a need for feline care at scale. There's tens of thousands of vet hospitals. There's less than 500 cat hospitals. And there are a handful that have taken the thought and intention that you are to build as cat-friendly a process and space as you possibly can into a mixed animal hospital. But ultimately, I think there's a need for a feline care system. Did you see the Catalyst report that just came out?
I did. We're going to talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it yet.
Okay.
Okay.
But so that's what I'm doing.
So that's what you're doing now.
So that's
we're going to get into it
Yes.
completely. But before we do that,
Yeah.
I need hot takes over hot tea, except we're not drinking hot tea, we're drinking cold water. But I told Dr. Epstein to prepare a hot take for you all, and he did. So let's hear it.
It's easy. Cats don't belong in dog hospitals. That's my hot take.
He said it.
Your grandpa doesn't belong in a pediatrician's office. A 4-year-old doesn't belong in the ER of Grady Hospital in downtown Atlanta because he has the sniffles. Cats don't belong in a dog hospital. Okay. I would drop the mic, but it's expensive. So and not mine.
This was not recorded, but while we were getting ready, I tripped and almost broke the whole situation. So
a little bit. We fixed it.
Yes, we fixed it. Okay, cats do not belong in dog hospitals. Basically, your hot take is cats do not belong in vet practices where there are dogs.
That species first approach to care is where we should go as an industry.
Okay.
And I think there will always be hospitals that care for both species, that care for tons of species. There's going to be a spectrum. But I think in the same way that you can take a 6-year-old, 40-year-old, and 90-year-old to the same urgent care clinic, to a same wellness clinic, we also have pediatricians, adult practitioners, and geriatricians.
Yeah.
So I think vet med is at a place where we've evolved care of general practice extremely far. We've evolved specialty care in specific areas of medicine.
Yeah.
I think a species-centric approach to care is the next evolution.
I think that's probably fair. Do you think a more feasible alternative could be GP practices that do both, but they have like separate areas, separate systems, maybe even separate staff?
I think that's a great intermediate, and I think that's
like,
gonna
but no.
but I think that has a place in it.
Yeah,
but ultimately,
which is sort of what we're gonna do,
right? And I think that you're going to it's a spectrum, and I think you're going to have some cats that tolerate that experience really well, and you're going to have some that if there is the smell of a dog, there's the sound of a dog, there's smell of dog fur on your scrubs, if there's the lighting, if it's the temperature of the room, the texture of the table and the countertops, if it's all of those, the cats are so sensitive to their environment, to what they hear and what they perceive, that there will be there's a lot of cats out there that don't come in, and I think part of that is that there's not an experience really curated for them, and so the ones that come into mixed practices will continue to. And
some cats don't come in because people think they don't need to bring their cat in.
Oh yeah, that's another uphill battle.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't bring their cats because it's difficult, because they are walking into a building full of dogs.
And it's because I wasn't trained in feline medicine or surgery very well at all. And I don't think most of us are. I don't think it's still not quite where it needs to be. It's a lot of dog, this is different in a cat. Dog, this is different in a cat.
Yeah.
And I think we don't understand them as a species. I don't think we understand them biologically and how different. And cats aren't small dogs.
And cats are not dogs.
And
cats are horses, kind of. But
that's exactly.
We should talk about that.
Oh yeah, no,
I think about it a lot.
I don't mess with horses because they're 2,000-pound cats. So
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. I don't work with animals that weigh more than me. So that's my cutoff.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I like the hot take. It's probably the hottest take we've had on the show, which I very much appreciate. And we're going to talk about it some more. But before we talk about cat practice more, I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
If you had to pick a dog breed that you would be, we'll start with dogs.
Okay.
If you were a dog breed, what would it be?
Oh, I'm a boxer. They're my heart and soul. Yes. They have 9 million pounds of energy, and then they just want to nap for a week. Yep. And I've had 3. They've all had the 3 worst.
I love boxers.
I don't currently,
but you've had them.
I travel. I live in 2 places, so they have a special place in my heart. And
my cousin has boxers. So she's like my sister. So they're like my nephew dogs, and I love them.
They're somehow the dumbest and smartest animals
all
at the same time. They have so much personality, but they also will be perfectly fine if you just want to nap on the couch all day. So it's
true. I wish if only they weren't brachycephalics, they'd be like the perfect dog.
Yeah, because then most of them are quiet. Mm-hmm. 2 of the 3 I've had, I almost never heard them bark.
And they just want to cuddle. Oh yeah.
Same.
You want to cuddle too. See, you're a boxer. Same. Okay, perfect. Yeah. What was I? The boxer, my boxer character for my content, my dog breed content might be my favorite character to do because it's just so funny.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're just.
I'm going to channel Jason Epstein from now on when I'm being the boxer. Yeah. That's good to know. Okay, now I have to ask you, if you were a cat breed, what would you be?
I thought about this because the first thing I did was like, all right, what's the cat equivalent of a boxer? But I think the way to go is Maine Coon.
Oh,
I think Maine Coons are they're also my favorite, but I think they are so friendly and interactive with the people around them. Yeah. They want to cuddle.
They're like dog cats.
And I think that's my personality. Yeah. Like I'm definitely,
you like cats, but you're not a cat.
I am not a personality of a cat. Yeah. And a cat personality probably isn't the one that's going to be in the entrepreneur seat.
Right.
So
it's right.
You need a bit of that, take way too much chaotic risk and energy and do 75 things at once, whereas cats are way more intelligent and calculated.
I might say Bengal, but
they're too pretty and expensive. I don't, man.
Too bougie.
I've got clothes that I've owned for a decade.
Okay,
I am not a
bougie.
Bengal. No, that's not me.
All
I mean,
right.
I didn't even remember to wear socks today. So yeah.
I like Maine Coon. That's a good one. Okay. I love that you came prepared because people are always like, oh gosh, I don't know what I am, but
yeah, no, I try.
All right. I love it. All right. So yes, there are 2 big things I want to talk about while I have you here.
All right.
So we're going to talk about cat practice first, and then we're going to pivot. It's going to be like, whoa, because we're going to pivot and talk about something very different.
Yes.
But let's talk about cat practice.
Yeah.
All right. So I agree with you just somewhat that cats need so much different in a vet clinic. Do you think that it's just because of the cats, or do you think a lot of it is the people who have cats want something different from people who have dogs?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think there are cat caregivers that have a multi-animal household that I think there are cat caregivers that look at it like this is my pet, this is my buddy. And then there are cat people that
and they're their children.
Yeah, they would give their own kidney if they could for their cat with kidney disease. And I think you're going to find the whole realm of profiles of caregivers in the cat owner space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say really intense cat owners are more dedicated to their pets than even the most intense dog owners.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
1,000% would agree with that. I think that at least in volume, like we've both been in vet school and seen the $20,000-$30,000 bill walk out, and it's just as likely to be a dog as it is a cat.
Yeah.
But I think in general practice, the dedicated, I'm here all the time,
just noticing keeping a log and here's what their poop tastes like today. actually really did
I'm
have
glad you said
I
that.
had a client tell me that one time in Colorado.
Oh God. See, my joke in the room is when they talk about, I hand my tech the urine. I'm like, let me know what it looks like in the flavor. And then I always get it like, wait, did you just,
Yeah.
just like,
I wish I was making it up. A cat lady one time called and like it.
I've never got
Sometimes I
flavor
tasted in it.
comments. I got a shoebox full of it once, but never that.
There was also a client at the vet school that was like the most awesome cat lady. And she would bring baked goods for the staff at the vet clinic all the time. But like nobody ever ate it because it was full of cat hair always. It was like a hazing ritual for anyone new. Like, oh, look, there's really yummy looking muffins in the break room. And they had cat hair in them.
Oh God, no, that's.
There's so much I want to ask you.
I do.
No,
so
yes.
I will say I do think that it's somewhat targeting the caregiver. I think we're dedicated ones are really looking for those cat only experiences. But I do think there's a lot of families out there that have taken their dog to the vet and they've taken their cat, and then the experience is traumatic enough on them and their cat and the rest of the cats when they reacclimate, and they don't know how to do it. They don't know what they're supposed to do before and after.
Yeah.
And the opportunity, like if the opportunity existed, I mean, in Nashville, there's one cat practice between Chattanooga and Kentucky.
I know.
Like it's the number of cats here that one hospital can't serve.
No.
And so I think part of it too is there's not enough opportunity to say, hey, we are the experts. Our staff is trained. The facility's designed for them.
Yeah.
Like it's just a different experience. It's not necessarily that your vet's bad and we're better. This is designed around the cat.
Catered. Yeah.
And that's the fun thing. Like I've enjoyed walking around and kind of seeing where your thoughts are and why things have been designed. Because the whole process we've put in with Cats Only is, okay, put on your cat's hat and your cat lens. What would you design?
It's very Temple Grandin of you.
Yeah. But it's really just everything through the lens of the cat. The entire exam rooms, we went to the feline visual spectrum, and that's what we chose for colors. So like all the little things that I'm hoping resonate not just with our staff and our caregivers, but also create that elevated experience for our patients where they're not reaching that high level of anxiety that they normally do.
I need to take advantage and pick your brain about all that for our cat part of the clinic.
Yeah, we're not opening in Tennessee anytime soon.
Okay,
especially
good.
with you here. So
okay, good.
Can't get clients. So.
We are, when we talked about this, we are having like dedicated cat rooms, and dedicated cat space for cages and treatments and things like that.
I think you're putting a lot of intention behind it. And I will say, like, there are practices that see cats and there are practices that are going to think about making sure they can care for their feline patients. And I think there's that designation, right? Like we're a GP, we just toss them in the rooms versus dogs don't go in this room.
Yeah.
And so I think there's, again,
right.
It's a spectrum.
Well, it's a spectrum, and there's a lot of practices that have been around for a long time. And as we sort of touched on, the cat world, vet world landscape has changed so much. Yes. And so there's definitely plenty of practices out there who haven't started in the last 10 years even. And so they're having to adapt with how they were already set up, or they're not adapting, which is my experience in a lot of the practices I've been in. But so I'm excited to have the opportunity to like de novo plan for that. So let's dig into that a little bit. A lot of the listeners here are pet owners, and some of them are cat owners. So I think what would be super helpful and interesting is if you sort of if we go through some things that practices should think about doing in their practice to be more cat friendly, and two, what cat owners, caregivers can look for in a practice that they're going to know it's going to be a better experience for my cat.
No, I think those are great points. So
which is sort of the same thing. So
well, I think there's what you're looking for as a caregiver is different than what I'm going to tell the practice, because the caregiver is only going to see so much.
Right.
So, if I'm sitting in the seat of, I'm looking for a practice to choose I'm looking for, do any of the doctors, are they members of the Feline VMA?
Yeah.
Are they cat friendly, or any of the staff cat friendly certified? It's not hard to do.
Yeah.
It takes
I need to do
a choice.
I need to do it.
It's online.
Yeah, I need
It's
to
a
do
great
it.
program. The Feline VMA is designed a really easy to use course that is for not just doctors, but for technicians and for advocates that your clients can take it. And it helps them learn a ton about how to best bring their cat into the practice and how to get them back home. And so there's just cat-friendly advocates. And so I look for cat-friendly certified practices. I don't get snobby with, is it silver or gold? Or I don't just look for the, that's a good thing to look for in a practice, because that means they're making their companion animal hospital as cat-friendly as possible. So I think that's a good thing to seek out. I think if they're not cat friendly, then it's looking for, do they advertise having cat rooms? Do they have cat hours? Do they have 1 or 2 entrances? Do the reviews say things about how they handle their cat, or do they sit with their cat in the lobby? Is there a lot of lobby time versus direct to room time? You know, what are the appointment lengths? Because it's important for cats to have an acclimatization period to get used to the new sound, smells, sights of an exam space, because cats are a two-brain species. They're a predator-prey species. Dogs are not that. And so when they get out of home, they go into prey mode. And so you have to give them time. So figuring out those sort of things as a caregiver was not always easy, but it's the places I would start asking.
Okay. Yeah. I love that.
And as the other side of the question, right, is what do we do as a hospital that either exists, or in your seat, you have the luxury of designing, right? So I think if you're designing, there's a million resources. There's so much out there on the feline, audio spectrum, on what they see, on their sensitivity to temperatures. Like they prefer temperatures that are 85 to 90. I'm not setting my thermostats to 85. But
do you think like space heaters in the cat rooms?
100%.
Okay.
Or have a
let's
separate.
do that. If you were to design, well, you are for your company, but if I was like, Jason, tell me what my cat rooms, because we're gonna have 2 cat only exam rooms.
I would have them on a separate thermostat, so you can have them warmer.
Okay.
I would have
or a space heater.
Or space heater. I'd have warm spaces available. I'd have tons of places for them to get up high, because height is security, but it needs to be accessible to the staff, so they need to be able to come off or lift the lid. I would avoid any low areas they can get under and hide, because you never want to have to reach in and pull a patient out. So intention around, what are my corners, what are the nooks and crannies look like, because we want them to feel safe and have places to hide, but they need to be accessible places,
right? So you like what we talked about, I'm going to do, like platform, ramps, boxes on the wall.
Yep. I think the boxes, but make the boxes detach.
Yes.
To where if you need to just carry the kiddo around. I think they actually prefer to be up high, not on the ground. So if you're going to set the carrier down somewhere, it should be up on a bench or a table or a a counter, something that is higher up, so that when they
opposite from
enter,
dogs.
100%.
Like dogs freeze when you put them up, and so like you can examine them, but they're not comfortable. And cats, it's the opposite.
And then it's also the texture of that surface. You don't want them up on stainless steel. You don't want them on a cold surface. So if there's a way to warm it, whether it's a heating pad to warm the counter,
our cat room tables are heated.
So are mine. Yes.
I get a gold star.
I mean, I've got some. So I think that's super important to have that warm surface.
So temperature, warmth, height,
sound dampening.
Okay.
And then decrease to minimize the amount of times you come in and out of the room.
Yeah.
Cats actually get a spike in their anxiety every time that door opens. And so if you have the ability to go in the room and stay there till you're done and then leave and that's it, that's everything you need. Ideal. So I think I am designing. So I think that's kind of where my approach is how do we get them to stay in predator mode, which sounds really stupid. Like I want my patients to be predators.
It makes sense.
Like I want them to be a predator. But really when they're in that predator state, they're confident and they're calm and they're relaxed. They're not stressed and anxious.
They're the boss.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot. If you create the perfect environment, that's a good step one. I think you have to make sure your staff gets the right training, both knowledge base on how cats think, how they perceive things, what they see as a threat versus not a threat, how to interact with them, and also how to handle them.
Yeah. That's a whole.
I've worked with some phenomenal vet assistants. I've worked with some phenomenal vet techs and some phenomenal vet tech specialists, and the the biggest thing that makes them competent in working with cats is how they handle them for blood draws, how they handle them for procedures.
Do they scruff them?
No place in veterinary medicine.
No, I know. I mean, like that's
but yeah, that's
you automatically know. Okay, if they're trying to scruff a cat.
But like I've seen and spoken with colleagues that will do 3, 4, 5 cc blood draws with just a cat just sitting with their leg out and just draw here, and they're just like chilling. Mm-hmm. And so it's about positive reinforcement and using treats as a compliance tool, not as a reward. This is a little different than dogs, but it's
a bribe, not a reward, right?
Yeah, they're cats.
Basically, it's a horse.
Yes, horses don't get treats
Cats
for tricks.
Horses.
Like they get bribed to do what you want them to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the end of my knowledge. So
cats are horses.
That's I just. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole scruffing cats thing. It's such a like. A lot of people talk about it on the internet, and all the cat people are talking about it. But it is what so many clinics do.
It's how we're trained.
It's how we were trained. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's hard to be someone who's like about it in a practice where everyone's doing it, which is part of why I'm really excited to, just start fresh. And that's just not what we do here.
Right. I mean, you think about the 2 ways people get blood from a cat. It's a scruff and a pull, or it's this with the neck.
Yeah.
And those are the 2 worst things you can do.
I know. Yeah. And I think, and I'm not an expert, but I do I'm not allowed to own cats because my husband Ryan is so allergic, but I love cats, and why I love my job, because I get to actually interact with cats at work. But I have learned more in the last few years about all of this, and like tried to learn, okay, if we're not doing that, what are we doing? And in the circumstances where I've been able to like direct techs or assistants, can you please just try this instead? Yeah. It usually, goes well. So I think there's like I want you to comment on this, but to me, it seems like there's like a fear of like, okay, well, if we're going to stop scruffing, which is what know is comfortable, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. It's like, don't scruff, but then they don't know what to do instead.
Yeah. And I think the innate problem is they're still in an environment where their FAS is so high that they are so anxious and fearful. I'm trying to unabbreviate it because I realize not everyone's medical. That they're so amped up that I would be scared to let go too. Yeah. So if we create an experience where they don't get anxious and don't get amped up and they don't get to that point, then you don't need the scruff.
Yeah. And you can't really have to do it. Like, because if you're not changing the environment, then it is going to be difficult to do things without.
How quickly do you start touching them? What are your where are you putting your hands? How are you handling them? How much are you handling them? Are you taking the cat
to another place to do the thing?
Yeah. Are you taking them away from their person? Like, let's be honest, that's their emotional support human. Yeah. And when you take them away from their emotional support human, usually they get worse. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a dog who's just like, who's my new friend? Like, they might not ever see them again. And probably as much as we don't want to admit it now. Right. Like, we don't want to admit this, but like 2 of my boxers could have just gone with someone else and had happy lives and just forgotten all about me. Like they're not like that. They need their emotional support person. Yeah. They need control, and they need to know what's about to happen next. And
which suddenly just makes you feel so much more sad for cats in shelters.
Or in the clinics. I mean, I've seen clinics that are inside of dog boarding and kennel area, and there's just constant dog noise, and there's not it's not always a cat friendly environment, right? And so we owe it to them to create this care system. We owe it to them to do the best job we can in practice, and it's not easy to throw away those old habits, but
you can do it.
I also don't claim to be an expert. That's why I'm really grateful for the team I've got around me. Yeah. I love the challenge of building and doing something new and creating this space for doctors that are absolutely obsessed with feline medicine and education and dentistry and surgery. And I do not sit up here and claim to be the cat expert
Sure,
of all experts.
sure.
I talk to those
But
people.
you know a lot more than the average vet because this is what you're doing now.
And I'm fortunate.
This is who you are now.
Some great, yeah, it is. I have some great experts around me that
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to work with.
So let's talk about the company because it's very exciting. So you all, like, where are y'all in the stages of?
So we finalized floor plans and design, and we're starting demolition about the same time as you.
Okay.
And
What
we're
state?
in Colorado.
In Colorado.
So our first 5 will be in Denver.
Oh, I didn't realize it was Denver.
Yes. So I get to go to Colorado
I'm so
for
jealous.
company travel.
Well, I'm going to have to come visit.
You'll have to come to the opening. You'll have to come to the grand opening.
I'll have to come
I would
visit
love
and
to
promote.
share what we've built.
Yeah.
We're looking at August, which is probably around when you're opening.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, we'll have the same construction.
We'll
It's a
probably be
race.
September, but
It's a race.
we'll see.
So.
You never know with construction.
Oh,
so
yeah, I know.
that's quick though. Did you?
We started this in August.
Okay.
So
But it's de novo construction.
Yes. Well, it's a corner. So we're the first location's in a really cool spot in the Aurora corner of Denver.
Okay.
There's a big complex called the Stanley Marketplace. It's kind of like the factory at Franklin. You know Stanley Marketplace?
Well, because remember I lived there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you lived in like Aspen area. This is
Yeah,
Denver,
but we went to Denver a lot.
Okay. So
in Aurora.
We're in the corner of Stanley. So
Okay.
we're actually in that center.
Oh,
So it's this
cool.
cool like mixed use.
Yeah.
It used to be a ejection seat manufacturing facility for airplanes.
So you renovated it.
It was a yoga studio. So it already has
Okay.
some Zen built in.
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah.
So you built it out. Okay.
Yeah, so we're in the process of
Okay.
tearing down walls and putting walls back up, and we got a dentist office above us, but it's a really cool. Like I'm excited for the staff because there's like 7 great restaurants in that little place they get to
Oh
go.
yeah. So it's a cool spot to
It's
work.
a cool
too.
little place to work,
Okay,
and
cool.
we got the corner, so we're isolated, and yeah. It's
What's
gonna
it
be
called again? Cat only.
Cats only veterinary services.
Cats only veterinary services. Coves.
Yes.
Are you gonna call it coves?
Probably not. Probably
No?
gonna stick with cats only.
Oh, I like coves too.
So that's
Okay.
that's in the legal schmeal because it's an abbreviation.
Cats only veterinary service. Okay. And so open hopefully by August, first location.
Yes.
But plan for a few in Denver.
Oh, the second one in December.
Okay. So boom, boom, boom.
Assuming we get the lease signed in the next few weeks.
Is Denver like known for everybody has a cat, or is it like how'd you pick Denver?
I would love to give you a lot of insight there. That was a decision. I wasn't at the
Okay.
table going, let's pick a city.
I didn't know if it was like a market analysis.
It's on the list of ones. We're not the only organization opening vet hospitals in Denver. I think we know there's a lot of people there. There's a lot of high rises, and there's a lot of increase of cat adoptions. There's a really strong network of rescues and shelters in Colorado that we're really excited to work with.
Yeah.
And it all tended to just like the stars aligned
Just
to make
made
sense.
Yeah.
That's where we want to start, and that's where we wanted to put our flagship, and kind of that's where we want to build this brand out of. I think Colorado fits our vibe.
Yeah.
And
Very zen.
I'm excited to start things off. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I will definitely be coming. Yeah. So if y'all open in August, that's perfect because I could come visit before we're like technically open, before my life is over for the next.
Our CMO's
Wow.
already like, I'm planning the VIP launch party. I was like, okay, dude, can we like build it first?
Yeah.
But no, it's
I'm the
once we get a date and get some things going. But yeah, I'll probably text you construction pictures.
Okay.
And
I'll be thrilled to see
Yeah.
it. I can even come before it's done. Yeah. Okay. So if you had to pick, we're going to move on to our other random topic in a minute, but if you had to pick one thing that you could just say no GP vet clinic will ever do again when it comes to cats, would it be scruffing cats? If there's like one thing you could change instantly, it never happens or always happens for cats in any GP, what would it be?
Oh, that's a pressure question.
I know. I didn't warn him.
No warning. That would probably be the answer, because
Scruffing.
without scruffing, you have to stop and do something else.
Yeah.
So I think so my answer would actually be just like requiring everyone to stop when the cat hits their threshold. But I think the reason that they don't, and that we
because
don't,
they can
is because
scruff
you
to
can't
control
scruff.
them.
So if you get to a point where you say, hey, listen, you can no longer manhandle a patient. You can't just say, we're getting this done now. The only thing you can do is a towel and a poke in the butt with some sedatives, and that's the most you're going to do. And then you do your appropriate level of handling. So I think scruffing, because The answer is you can't push a cat past their breaking point.
Yeah.
That would be giving cats a no button, which, by the way, if your kids ask you for a no button from Amazon, say no. It's the worst thing I've ever.
Like you hit it and it says no?
Oh, in like 7 different tones. Like, no.
I have not heard of this.
Yeah, no, my 9-year-old asked for it 2 years ago and they keep disappearing.
So there's a lot of parents listening.
There's a yes and a no button. It's the worst. It's
don't order that.
The worst. But we want to give cats a no button, like the Staples easy button.
Like I'm out.
So, yeah.
Well, we have the term kitty minutes, which is funny because we use that term like.
But then we keep going.
Right. We're like, we reached their kitty minutes.
Yeah, but
now
we still have stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think scruffing's number 1 and calling cats aggressive and spicy is a quick A.
Okay, that was on my list. So, do you get annoyed if you ever see my content and I have a spicy cat character?
No, because I think your intentions are pure and your intention is either comedy or education.
I know.
I think that it's the idea of it's a fine line when you're trying to be entertaining and funny, and I respect that. I think what's hard is when there's like a lecture title that's like handling the spicy cat. You're like, cats aren't spicy. Cats are cats in an environment they're not supposed to be in. Cats aren't aggressive. They are acting the way a cat should exactly act if you put it in that environment. And so I think we just personify, we add all of these emotions. It's like, just like we do with dog, like, oh, my dog looks guilty. Like, that's fear. Like, it's
right.
The same
Dogs
thing.
are
We have to
guilty,
give them emotions. And so with cats, it's, oh, he's aggressive, he's mean, he's spicy. It's like, no, he's just acting exactly the way the DNA tells you to act.
And everything that my spicy cat character does is not actually spicy. It's just what a cat would do. Just roll their eyes at the dogs.
No, and that's just like the sassy queen cats. Like that's I think the term. So one of the things I'm trying to do is how do we like curate the exam room based on the personality of the cat?
Yeah.
And one of the terms we came up with was the moody monarch.
The moody monarch. Wait, I have to hear all of these after this.
Oh yeah, I'll pull up the list. I don't have them memorized. There's a lot.
Okay, yeah. So maybe we'll rename Spicy Cat on Dr. Molly Says.
Yeah, it can be your moody monarch.
Moody monarch. I love that. That's hilarious. Okay, we should have done this 2 episodes, but we're going to pivot from cats to something that does have to do with cats because it has to do with vet med. But let's talk about the good old VPA. So if anyone's listening, watching, and you don't know what I'm talking about when I say VPA, I actually haven't done a podcast episode about this at all, which is probably shocking to you because I talk about it a lot. But I have been sort of deciding how do I want to talk about it. And I sort of wanted to see like what happens.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I think a lot of people are very curious.
So long story short, which is hard for me, but let me just catch you up. And interrupt me if I say anything that's like egregiously wrong.
I'll do my best.
So there's a movement in the United States to create a mid-level veterinary practitioner, which a lot of people in human med don't like the term mid-level because it seems like derogatory. I don't have an alternative. So right now I'm saying mid-level position.
It's an NP equivalent. Yeah.
Right. And so there is a group of people led by an attorney who are pushing for this Marky Mark.
So I in Colorado in particular, it's not a decision anymore.
Right. Yes, but there is this underlying movement.
Yeah, there are people out there.
Mark Cushing is his name. He's an attorney who's, I can't think of the organization that he heads up, that it makes him a lot of money is what I have suspected is his motivation because he's an attorney and he makes money by helping lobby for these things. I have been told he's on retainer at multiple vet schools. So there's an organization behind it, but then vet schools, I think, want this. I do think there's money involved because they can add programs to make tuition money. It's a little bit easy tuition money, which we'll get into. So they have titled this position VPA, Veterinary
Professional Associate.
And the first state where this has actually become a possibility is Colorado.
Oh, it's more than it's the law.
It's happening.
It was up for a vote.
Yep.
And I, along with every state board and VMA and everything, were trying to influence the public to vote against it because it's establishing something before there's any sort of guardrails.
And Colorado, I think, was chosen, one, because CSU, Colorado State University, the vet school, really wanted it. They had plans for it. They've been scheming this. And and then 2, the way the government legislation is set up in Colorado, it made it a little bit easier. Because the public got to vote on it.
Yeah, I think that would be my suspicion.
Yeah.
I can't validate the first few things, but I think
those are all theories in my mind, but yes.
But it does make sense. I mean, it went to the public vote before anything else was figured out, and that's scary.
Yeah, and the bummer about it, so it's called Proposition 129, and when this was happening, I did a lot of deep dive on this. So, but what was sort of advertised to the public and was funded by multi-million dollars by a local shelter organization with like millions and millions of dollars in reserves, and no record of where that money comes from exactly. But that organization funded the lobbying for this law to pass to the general public. So we know that they hired a lobbying firm to send people out on the ground, boots on the ground, knock on people's doors, hand them flyers that basically told people, if you vote for this, the cost of your vet care is going to go down in Colorado.
I mean, I know none of those facts, so you know a lot more about how it got here.
So that's how we got here. So the public in Colorado voted on Prop 129, and it passed.
51. 42%.
Yeah, it was a 2% margin.
It was not a lot.
So it passed. So now that it has passed, basically that says legally VPAs can exist in Colorado.
Will exist.
Will, yes.
Will.
But however, the next part of that is 1, so they need to be licensed. How are they licensed? How do they become licensed? Mm-hmm. And then 2, what education qualifies a person as that, and then what qualifies a person to do that education are kind of the 3 big things.
And scope of work. And
then the most important is scope of work, meaning, okay, if a person becomes a VPA, what does that mean they can or can't do to animals? Yes. Because if you don't know this, veterinarians and veterinary technicians and veterinary assistants, depending on the state, it's very, very clear what we can and can't do. Mm-hmm. Like you as a GP veterinarian, I can do any medical procedure on a patient. Now, there's liability if I try to do something I'm not trained to do. Yep. But if I tell a client, hey, a surgeon should do this, but if you can't, I can try it. If there's consent, I technically am licensed to do that. Mm-hmm. And then veterinary technicians, depending on the state, are licensed to do different things. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, in some states, a vet tech can extract single-rooted teeth.
Yep. And
close the pocket. Mm-hmm. Yep. And in some states, that's not the case. So there's just a lot of laws and regulations in place for those positions. So that needs to also exist for this new position.
Yep.
Insert Dr. Epstein.
Yep. So no, this conversation started because I saw one of your.
I was ranting in my story about it,
and I was like, hey, I've definitely got some strong opinions here, and I'm actually on so a few months ago, 6 months maybe, there was a announcement. I'm part of the Colorado VMA. I got a thing that was saying, hey, we're looking to put together a task force to create the exam for VPAs. I was like, well, it seems like something you should have done first. Mm-hmm. Volunteered and was asked to join that task force. And so it's something that I've got a little bit of insight to. And I've been stomping my feet a little bit because the idea of writing an exam for a license for a job that doesn't have a scope of work is exceptionally difficult. Because our task at the moment is, here's the curriculum that they're teaching them, which is public. It's on CSU's website.
You can see it.
Here's the curriculum. Write an exam based on the curriculum. And I keep having the conversation back to the AVSB of like, listen, like that's a final exam for a degree. You want me to write a licensing exam for a job? I need to know what the job is. Yeah, it's very different. Uh-huh. So we're very mid. I think our in-person is sometime in May. So this is very ongoing. But the scary thing is that students are starting to apply.
Yes. So Colorado State has opened applications. They are marching forward. And they are going to enroll a class that's supposed to start in August, I think.
Start this fall. It's 3 semesters online. one hands-on, heavy hands-on, and one intern heavy hands-on. So it's 5 semesters of all cat and dog curriculum, and they will be allowed to do I don't know what.
So this was some of the controversy when Prop 129 was trying to get passed, because the Colorado VMA was very opposed to it, as was the AVMA, the National Veterinary Medical Association, mainly because there were all these kind of different people involved in the support of it, and they're all saying different things about what these people were going to do.
Still happening.
It's still happening. Yes, even like Colorado State representatives,
and
they
ultimately,
can't get their story straight.
It's going to be the job of the state veterinary board.
Yeah,
that's who it's going to really fall down to. So if you have strong opinions here, those are the people to reach out to. Those are the people to send an email and ask opinions to, because those are the ones that are going to sit in a room and ultimately pass the legislation as the state board.
When does that happen?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But all they've done since passing Prop 129 is pass a small addendum that has said they will be staffed at 2 to 1. So there's a maximum of
1 vet for every 2 VPAs.
We have that's in the law, and it's public. And then they are looking at a way for someone with a vet tech specialty, so a licensed tech that went and got a VTS in either canine or feline, that they'll be able to skip the education program and just go straight to the test.
Oh, okay.
Which is also scary, because there are some great VTSs, but I don't know if I want them to take a test and then start doing spays and neuters.
Right. So
there's a hands-on component. You need that.
And it's nothing about them, but the hands-on part. You think they have to do the practical part.
Right. That's what would scare me a little bit.
That's scary. Just the test, not the practical part.
Again, it's blurry, and there's no test yet. So,
right.
And the conversations I'm hearing is, well, the intention was to provide practitioners in the shelters and to help with shelters and spay neuters in shelters. I think there's a noble undertone possibly, but you're talking about shelters that don't have a doctor in the first place.
Well, exactly. Exactly. And they're like, oh, it's going to help underserved rural areas. And I'm like, well, if vets don't want to move there and work there, why do you think VPAs want to? And I saw recently someone from Colorado State was like, oh, it's because students from those rural areas who can't afford to go to vet school, they can afford to go here. And so they're more likely to come back. And I'm like, this seems like a questionable statement. It might be insulting also.
It's a lot. There's a lot of problems with that statement.
About this. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if the tuition's public or not. I think there's another big difference.
It's like $60,000, isn't it?
That's more than my vet school was.
Yeah.
But there's the other program. So right in our back door, Lincoln Memorial also has a program, and they created it a long time ago.
Theirs is more like for techs, though, right?
So it's an elevated. So theirs is the same. It's a master's in clinical care. That's the degree that you get at either CSU or LMU. It's the same degree.
Oh, it's the same degree.
It's the same degree. The biggest difference is that Colorado State only requires a bachelor's and 160 hours of animal experience. So 1 month equivalent.
Yeah.
Whereas LMU requires you to be an LVT or a CVT or an RVT in order to even apply, and a bachelor's degree to apply to the program.
Which is better. Way better.
I think if we're going to create this opportunity, it should have been designed as a way to elevate technicians.
100%.
Not to bypass as a hey, I can't get into vet school, but I just want to do cats and dogs, and I want to be hands-on, and I don't want all the responsibility, but some of the responsibility. Like, it's a weird place to go.
Or not even I can't get into vet school. I don't want to go to vet school. I don't want to go for 4 years. I don't want to take on the debt. That's great, but what the alternative doesn't make sense to me, because I keep thinking about, okay, practically, like in GP practice, like what I can't think of any situation where like having another person who is paid, it's like 2/3 as much as a vet, who is not qualified to do anything that's like advanced. Like, I don't really need help.
Well, if you look at the curriculum, like the scope is extremely broad that they're so there. If you take,
at one point I heard someone say they could do splenectomies.
There's probably education on it. I think if you take everything that we learned and make it only cat and dog, and then condense it as much as you can, It's probably a 3-year, like if you get rid of all the large animal, all the public health, all the, like everything that you're not talking about going back and doing microgenetics and like histopath. You don't need histopath to be a GP.
Yeah.
Kind of ish, but also like in a day-to-day use, you can learn how to do an aspirate, look at the shape in the cell and say what it is, and then send it to a pathologist. Like you can learn how to do the job without the underlying knowledge, and it's not the right way to do it, but it's a way to do it.
It's possible.
It's a way. Like I could teach someone to aspirate and tell if it's a mast cell.
But then the question is that really what the general public wants?
Who knows?
From a veterinarian.
I mean,
maybe they do.
I think and then maybe I think there's a right way to do it because spectrum of care exists.
I'm a huge advocate for it.
My philosophy too is that not only should these people be supervised by a vet, but they should have their own liability insurance.
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing, 100%.
Because good luck getting any of us to hire someone and take their liability on.
Yeah, nope. If I was an associate vet and my boss was like, okay, I'm going to hire a VPA and
they're yours.
They're under your liability if you're in the building with them. So if something happens, it's on your license and your liability insurance. I'd be like, goodbye. No way, Jose.
Like, give me a new graduate veterinarian that is super green and I can train and work and mentor and grow rather than someone that went and got a bachelor's and a VPA and I have to go through the same level of hand-holding.
Yeah.
But the ceiling is lower.
Yeah. It doesn't,
and it just doesn't.
There's just so much that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense what Colorado did and what they're doing. And I don't know. Not to like get into the like conspiracies, but if you actually follow the money, which I did, it was a deep dive. It is wildly suspicious.
It's scary. There's an opportunity here
for corporate
for
take
organizations to again. There's an opportunity to see this do really, really well and do a lot of positive. And there's an opportunity for an organization to hire a vet that is checked out, and then for each vet they hire 2 VPAs, and they find 3 checked out vets and 6 engaged VPAs, and they pay the vets enough to just go through the motions and the VPAs to do all the other work. And it could be really dangerous and profitable.
Yeah.
And there's a way to do this where you can say, hey, I want every first appointment, first visit, ears, derm, diarrhea, like certain list of cases plus cat neuters and, like dog neuters. Like I could teach. I might have seen technicians doing cat neuters when I was a child in vet clinics. So.
Me too. Me too. But
I could train it.
Okay, but you say derm, but like there's so many things with like an itchy dog that
there is.
I don't think people understand what happens in a veterinarian's brain, like when we see an appointment. Because there are, 10 different specialties to a certain degree that a GP vet has to have a handle on in their brain when they're seeing an appointment. And it could, any appointment, an annual.
Yep.
How many times in a day are we seeing annual appointments? It's supposed to be just like a healthy pet appointment, and they come in and you diagnose like a fatal issue or like a life-altering disease like diabetes.
And I think to me that's the opportunity where spectrum comes into play.
Yeah.
Because if we have clients that understand the value of a veterinarian, understand what we bring to the table, they'll keep paying the $80 exam fee the night. But if we have someone that has 5 pets and they're living on $40,000 a year and they want to take care of their pets, they may only have the option of more affordable care.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's not about saying, it's doing it with the knowledge that it's not the best. It's saying I can give more people access to care. I think that's the only way this becomes a positive is I can have people come in for a $40 visit.
Yeah.
And they know that they're getting a $40 value and they may miss something. They may not find something. Like there's a risk in, just like when I go to an NP, I think NPs are phenomenal, but if it's
not the same.
It's not, no. And so I think we know what you see an NP, a PA, or an MD, you're getting a different experience.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity, but it really should have been, let's create the role. Let's get doctors on board with the role.
Yeah, maybe let's get all the vets in our state on board first. Shocking.
Or let's try to just like standardize what we do with doctors and nurses on a national scale.
Yeah.
Like
and the vet tech situation in the whole country is such a mess. Our technicians don't have title protection in so many states. Colorado just got title protection. So that's like the bigger fish to 100%. Fry first.
And the other issue we're dealing with is wage consolidation in the vet tech space, because in Denver proper, minimum wage is $19 an hour now. Yeah. And that means if I'm a phenomenal vet tech making 60, 70K, I'm not that high a percentage above minimum wage.
Right.
Which is not okay.
No.
But it's just this compression.
Well, it's just a squeeze from so many angles because, you have to raise prices to do that. And the public is so... You either have to increase your efficiency or increase your prices. And if you increase your efficiency, that can decrease the quality. And I'm just not convinced that VPAs would make anything more efficient, personally.
I think you're spot on. And I think it really is dependent on what their training and experience is. Because I think we've both probably worked with techs in our 10 plus years in that they could run a quarter of my rooms without me. And so if there was a path to take those techs and say, you're going to run these rooms, but also we're going to train them in the way of like, this ain't right, let me go get doc.
Yeah.
Like if that's the process to where
and how to think about it like a doctor instead of like a tech.
And I think I don't know if you've gone through the curriculum. I do think there's some of that there, but we really won't know the capabilities. We won't know the depth of knowledge. We won't know the caliber of intellect that is going into the program until we start to see output. Yeah. And that's the scary thing.
And I feel bad. That's who I worry about the most is the students who get duped into going into the program. They're all, I was told by like a whistleblower that like last year they were like offering people, they were calling people that didn't get into, so there's a conflict of interest. Colorado State, this is what I was told. I don't know if it's true.
I have no
but
opinion.
People who didn't get into vet school were being called. They got denied vet school and they got called. Oh, well, do you want to do our VPA program next year? And I just, it just feels icky. So I feel bad for them because they've been sold this flashy package. And I don't know that they're going to have a job when they get out.
I think there's enough of us talking about this. I think there's enough conversation in the space to where I'm just rose-colored glass. I'm the optimist of the world. So like
boxer.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe they're going in this with eyes open, knowing that like who knows what the job market's going to look like.
And I think, at first, I do think shelters could use this, and so I think the first couple classes will find jobs in shelters only in Colorado, though.
And that's
Can't
what Colorado's
leave the state.
talking about. When we've
but then after that, they're all those positions will be full.
Yeah.
So 2 classes in, all those shelter positions they say they're doing this for are going to be full. And so then where are they going to go? And I think that's where
it gets
certain
concerning,
corporate groups that are more like doc in a box type situations are going to swoop in and take advantage.
And the question is it going to go that direction, or is the cattle industry going to come in and say, we want a VPA? Is the equine medicine going to come in and say, we want a VPA?
Colorado State has already said they're going to do large animal next. They're already planning on it.
And
which honestly to me makes more sense. Agreed. And that's the real vet crisis, vet shortage. It's not veterinarians. It's large animal veterinarians and rural veterinarians. And so they touted that. Oh, there's a veterinary shortage. That's why we're doing this. That is not why you did this. Because if you were actually worried about that, you would have started with a large animal program. Yes. It is about money, in my opinion, because it's easy, whatever, $60,000 a year because it's online.
It's 3 semesters
and then don't
online
they
and
like
2
farm
in
them
person.
out to clinics for the practical?
I don't know if the practical that 5th semester. I don't know how many guardrail like
maybe it is there
because like Lincoln.
But
Memorial
like what is it going to be in the teaching hospital where all the vet students are having to elbow for cases?
I would anticipate not, but I don't have any clarity around it, and that's where it's just I think I look at my responsibility and the way I viewed this is. This is happening.
It's happening.
My personal opinion's irrelevant.
Right.
Like I tried to put all this in writing not too long ago, and I was like, I'm trying to write a whole article without having an opinion.
It's happening.
Because it's like, all right, here's our options: head in the sand, wait until it's out, and then just bitch and moan about it, and throw a big fit, or those of us that have a platform, that have a voice, try to speak to the people that are going to be writing the scope of work, that are going to be creating what the individuals this license can and can't do. There's no telling they can't, that the state vet board couldn't come up and say these individuals are exclusively limited to shelter medicine, to non-owned animals. Like there's an opportunity that they could go that aggressive with the scope of work. We won't know until that comes out and that's made. So I think there's.
So is that 2026? They should, the veterinary board should. We don't know.
I want the scope before the exam.
I know.
Literally sitting at my computer going, I'm writing an exam whatever they call it. Like
so basically you have 2.5 years until the exam has to be ready, because that's when the first class will be ready to take it, right?
They will be done because it's a 5-semester program. So it's 26 enrolls, so it's fall, spring, summer, and they're done. Or fall, spring, summer,
so
fall,
2028.
Spring. No, so like summer of 27, they graduate, because it's 5 direct summers. So it's fall, spring, summer, fall, spring. Done.
That will be 2028. That's 2028.
They enrolled this year, 26.
Yeah, so it'll be
6, 7, 7, 7. Can I do math?
It's 2028.
I can't.
But still, that's 8. Not even, so just barely 2 years.
Yeah, that's words. Yep.
Okay. All right. So we'll have to have a follow up about this.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. If you haven't heard about VPAs, you just got a crash course. Yeah. Mostly in Colorado, Florida's the next state.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to allow people to vote on it or not in Florida. It might just go straight through I think it passed the Senate. It's in the House. Like I think Florida's next.
Tennessee's probably soon because of LMU.
Tennessee and Kentucky, I'd be surprised if they don't. But at least LMU is requiring an LVT, RVT to get in.
Yeah.
I would be very scared that they pull that requirement if the position exists.
Right.
Because then it's not, I'm an LVT and I got my master's. It's now they're trying to do something else.
Yeah.
And it's there's so many good techs.
It's like a way
to
bypass vet school without,
and bypass techs.
And without being a tech,
Like technicians are a critical part of our industry. It's a 2-year degree or a 4-year degree.
They need to be elevated.
And they have so much capacity to educate, to perform lots of procedures.
And make our practices more efficient.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. If they're used efficiently.
Yeah. Phenomenal techs can make or break a practice. When I have had to work with, we hire them off the street, just put a sign out front techs, versus a team of they have worked in ER, they've worked in specialty, they've worked in busy GP, they know what they're doing, licensed or not, depending on the state. They're doing. Yeah. Like it's night and day.
All the difference.
What you can get done, how safe your patients are.
Yeah.
We've probably both experienced plenty of scary things in our 10 years.
Well, and the education that your clients get is a big part of it for me. Like, can a tech or an assistant actually explain to someone why we're offering this or recommending this? That's a big part of it. This is a whole other episode.
This is
okay. So how many people are on the committee that are writing the exam?
It's like a dozen plus.
Okay,
I think.
So it's a big committee.
It's a task force.
It's a task force.
We only have dumb names now in this country, so apparently everything is ridiculous. But
a task force.
Yes, task force. But it's really the state board. Like it's the state board.
I wonder why no one asked me to be on it.
I've had to volunteer. Nobody asked me to do nothing. I saw it.
Probably would have said no if I volunteered.
I mean, I'm here.
Well, but you haven't been talking about it the way I've been talking about it publicly. Okay, I could talk about this all day, but we have to be done. So we may have to just have another episode at some point. We'll do an update.
Yeah.
Next season, we'll do an update episode on the CAT practices and the VPA test.
And then another one on if we want to get into the MPW
Oh,
chaos.
yeah. We'll spill the tea.
Yeah,
we'll do that. Okay. All right. You should follow Dr. Epstein. So your handle is dr.jason Epstein.
Yes.
Which is Instagram. Do you have a TikTok?
No.
Oh, get a TikTok.
I'm not cool yet.
I'm going to make him get a TikTok, but Instagram for sure. And if you need to get in touch with him, you can email him.
Yes, you can email me while we're getting this company up and running. It's jason@catsonly.vet, or you can check us out at catsonly.vet.
And I assume y'all are going to be hiring cat-interested veterinarians.
I only need like 80 doctors in the next 6 years. So,
all right.
But no, any doctors or technicians or anyone that is obsessed with cats that wants to know what we're doing, reach out. Follow us on LinkedIn right now. We're working on the rest of our social channels. Yep. And
they'll all be in your bio, I'm sure.
Yes, and I'm just getting from personal Instagram to start to do the whole public thing. So there's not a lot there yet. But we're
by the time this comes out, we'll see.
We're excited to get it going.
Yeah,
so I'm going to be maybe asking someone for advice on how to do it. So
I don't know. Just do it. Throw it at the wall. See what happens. Okay. Thank you for listening or watching. If you are listening and not watching, you can watch on YouTube, and we're on all of the podcast channels. You can follow us, Dr. Molly Says Pod, on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You can follow me, Dr. Molly Says, on all of the platforms as well. And we will see you next week for the next episode of the Dr. Molly Says podcast. Bye.
Bye.